Can everybody hear me all right? I'm Kevin Ostermann. I'm district manager for the Nicollet SWCD out of St. Peter. I've been there for about 20 years, and I've been working on the 7 Mile Creek project. I think it started in 1994, so I've been there pretty much the whole time. So we'll get started. Some of you don't know where 7 Mile Creek it is, halfway between here and St. Peter. It's managed by the DNR for brown trout. The area of the watershed is approximately 36.8 square miles. There's a 620-acre county park down in the bottom of the ravine. It gets used by a lot of bikers, hikers, horse riders. It gets used quite a bit. So it's very unique to Nicollet County, and they've done a lot of research on watershed and how we can fix it up. So as you can see, the watershed is at the county park down at the bottom. We've got basically 3 monitoring sites in the park. We've got 3 ditches that come into 7 Mile Creek. And our main concern that we've been working on is the heads of all these ravines that flow down into the park area. So basically, back in 2005, we did a very intensive inventory, and we walked all these ravines. We came up with sites. We took pictures of each of these sites, of what was happening at each of these nick points along these fingers that come out of the ravine. So now, speed up to 2012, we got funded with a clean water. We got funded with a 319 grant, and then we got funded with a Clean Water Legacy grant. So basically what we're doing now is we're going back to these sites that we've considered high priority areas, and we're coming up with designs and engineering plans with these landowners that voluntarily come in and want to participate. So basically we're doing, like Ryan and Jared mentioned, we're doing wasp gobs, we're doing structures, we're doing filter strips, basically trying to clean up stop the sediment and ending up down into the park area. We have many partners that are working with us today. We have DNR's helping, we have Fishers and Farmers grant, we got a PCA 319 grant, we got our Clean Water Legacy money from Bowser. We have a nonprofit out of St. Paul that's helping us, Great River Greening, providing a staff person in our office to work on these projects. So basically, we went through all those sites and we prioritized them, and here's some of the sites what we've come up with. Our areas of concerns are, there's a lot of overland flow of water that's just going over the top, a lot of tile, a lot of the ravines are coming out because the tile water's coming in. So basically they're just cutting back into the farmers' fields. So basically I'm going to walk you through a project that we completed in, I think it was 2013 on the L.D. Brown project. These pictures are hard to see, but he does have a grass filter strip along here, kind of. And then over here there's a bunch of tile that dump into here. The ravine's starting to eat out here. So basically we wanted to fix up that area and take care of that for him. So basically right here in this picture you can see, right here is where his tile comes in. It's pretty, he's got it, if I go to the next, well, let me go back a slide. So basically here we got a tile coming in on this first site. This other site we got tile coming in plus the ravine's eating back. So that's basically what we're trying to clean up, trying to stop the water, slow it down from going into those areas. As you can see on this map, it's pretty extensively, he's got a lot of drainage coming into these areas. The first basin that we did has basically 30 acres coming into there. The average slope of that area is about 1.2%. And here's where it's basically all his tiles coming into there. So what we did is here's the second site. Basically right here is where his nick point is. This is the first site up in here. And the second site had 10.9 acres of drainage coming into that site. Back in 2008, with a different grant, we put another structure down on here on his site, all the way up over along in there. And the park boundary sits right along here. So he's really close to the park boundary. So we're basically working on the landowner's land, not the parks. This is a typical engineering plan that we use for this site. As you can see, there's where the berm is, the log out. Actually, we extended it down. We came down all the way, just so we didn't wrap around his field, so it'd be easier for him to farm. There's telephone poles that come along across here, so it's kind of a natural barrier. This is where our second site was, down here, with a pipe that goes into there. And basically, this is how the construction went. Basically, they put in an intake there. In that intake, there's an orifice that meters the water out. So the water doesn't just automatically just go straight through. I think on this one, there's a 6-inch orifice in there. So to meter it out, the water will be gone in 24 hours. No crop damage to the landowner. Everybody gets a bang for their buck. Then along this berm here, we did put some channel tile in to keep that berm dry, and he can farm right up to it. On this case, we actually put a buffer into the system, a buffer strip system in there. As you can see, this picture is the bottom of where the tile comes in, and then we got our channel tiles going out both sides. Both of those are 5-inch tile. And basically the construction took 4 days. We completed this project in 2013. If there's any questions anybody can ask too. So basically here's at the end of the construction, we put some hay bales around the intakes to keep from any of the sediment going into there before the grass got seeded. And this is our site number 2. This is another thing, just looking up, we did berm all the way across, all the way up and around. Try to capture as much water as we could to bring down to that one structure site, just for cost reasons. And like I said, he did put in filter strips. Each of these filter strips are about 150 feet wide. They are about 3.5 acres of filter strips along those 2 structural sites. This is the first growing season, so you don't see a lot. All of it was native grasses, it was switchgrass, Indian grass, big blue stem, basically a bunch of different flowers and stuff in there. So basically our breakdown of this project, what the cost was roughly around $23,196. $23,196. Our PCA grant paid some of it. The landowner could only contribute about $2,050 in this project. Otherwise, it was all funded by different grants through PCA, through Bowser, through Fishers and Farmers is a great partnership in this. So that's basically all we got the project completed. Equip did all the engineering, paid for part of the project. So there's our contact information. If anybody's got any questions, we'll be around to answer questions at the end of the day.
The landowner is responsible for the maintenance on what you did there?
Yes, the landowner is responsible for the maintenance. He's under a 10-year contract.
And if there would be a catastrophic failure, or we have a great big rain and that gets all washed away, he's obligated to replace it?
Well, we would seek out grant dollars because it's out of his control because it was done by the act of nature. You know, if there's a rain, if you go out there and plow it up, we'd go back and ask for our money back.
But if Mother Nature wipes it out?
Right, we're going to seek other funding to try to get the project back the way it was. Okay. It was out of his control. There's nothing we can do about it.
How much land was taken out of production there again?
I can't hear you, right?
How much land was taken out of production for that?
Roughly on that site was, with the dikes and everything, probably about 4.5 acres. There's 3.5 acres of buffer strip.
Filter strips seem to be the main thing to do.
Right.
There was a new farm bill passed apparently recently. Is there any money in there for farmers or for landowners to get filter strips? along the edges of woods?
Someone else want to answer that? I don't know about for CRP filter strips.
As far as the Farm Bill and CRP at this point in time, they have not authorized funding or a sign-up. At such a time, I would assume we will be practicing similar to what we currently have, so filter strips would be an option through that when that becomes, it's our doorstep anyway.
I just want to point out something on, let me go back to this back slide. The $10,000 was, we made a contract with the landowner that he would leave those filter strips there for 10 years, and he was compensated $10,000 on those 3.5 acres. And he basically in the contract, he does the maintenance for the, to get it established maintenance, which is, you have to mow it basically 3 times the first year to get those natives to go. And then he has to control thistles and noxious weeds anyway under most laws. Yes, Dan?
Kevin, what did the district have to do to get the staff person from Great River Grading?
We actually worked with, under our 319 grant, we were allowed to hire a staff person. So what we did is we contracted with Great River Greening, and they're a nonprofit out of St. Paul. Plus, they provide other technical expertise on grant writing for us, and ecologists and GIS people.
Would you comment about this grant writing process? Could you explain what that means in terms of hours spent doing that for a particular project? Or some kind of picture for some of us to know what that means.
Well, we got funded in 2013 with our clean water funds. We did 2 go-arounds with Lassard Sams, and we're unsuccessful in getting funded. We did another, and then on the 3rd year, we did one with the Clean Water Legacy dollars. We did get funded, and now this 4th go-around, we did get funded. I don't know how many hours I spent on that. I mean, there's other people that contributed. Jack here contributed a lot on helping us write that grant for the Clean Water Legacy money. Wayne out of Great River Greening spent hours on it. I don't know, 100 hours? Jack, you got any idea?
Well, it's site specific, so once we identified Eldon Brown site, the first go through, I probably put in 20 hours of my time zeroing in on aspects of the grant. And then some of the other partners as well, but it was the first cut. Then we had the project plan. You could just go to the next funding source with that and just adjust it a little bit. So the front end is you have to they're going to identify the landowner, the issue. Yes, so the people who volunteer, I volunteered my time to help write the grant because I thought it was important to protect that resource at 7 Mile, and certainly he's got it on the wall today as a pretty successful project, and you could duplicate that effort on any ravine or any edge field project. So getting volunteer landowner or other NGO support to write grants is really important in all this.
To explain the purpose of the questions is so that the landowners understand the difficulty of this in terms of time and dollars. And
right.
I don't know if anybody appreciates the complexity and also the success or failure rate of getting the project funded.
Yeah, right now after we got the project funded, I mean, we got projects lined up for this fall already. There's a lot of time spent surveying, designing, looking at each of these projects like Ryan's mentioned. It takes a long time to get it off the ground and get it going. Any other questions? Yes, you just got to mow them, and there's different chemicals and stuff that you can use on them. Actually, he's on this across the ravine, or across the field from this site. is right next to the woods, and he actually doesn't have a tree problem. I mean, there's little volunteers of maples and stuff like that coming through, but it's not like when you drive down the floodplain and once you leave it go, it just all comes back to willow trees. You can get the grasses established, sometimes it smothers out the tree competition. Yeah.
So-
I understand that the acres were still extending from the production of that land that's set back for maybe several years. If that is the case, do you ever have any problems with the ag land not wanting to go along with that idea of farmer compacting soil, digging clay out?
This one was put in the spring, and he never complained to us about any crop loss. He said it wasn't as good as what he normally gets. So, I mean, and it's better. I like to do the projects in the falls, and maybe some of the engineers here there's Doug here that can talk about the compaction issues and stuff. But, you know, I like to do them in the fall just so you can get in there and rip them up good, and you don't have that carry over to the next spring. I don't know, I don't run on some of these areas, I haven't ran across there, just ask the landowner if he's lost production or not.